Before New Super Mario Bros. Wii was released, Nintendo had kiosk stations available to play the game as a demo. This is common practice for game companies to build hype about their products, and often there are a few failsafes put in place to prevent the players from making too much progress through the game. As of recent, the Japanese kiosk demo files have been released to the public, and the way it behaves is quite strange. You only have 10 minutes to play the game before the demo ends, and it was found through hacking that the game will softlock until the demo timer expires if you reach the airship cutscene after the castle in World 1. The cannon is also unavailable, eliminating it as an option to avoid this softlock. However, since this demo's public release, nobody has been able to make it to the airship cutscene before the demo ends, despite the fact that the demo actually allows the intro cutscene to be skipped, a feature that is not in the final release. Based on the cannonless world record speedrun of New Super Mario Bros. Wii set back in 2024, it seems barely possible to reach this cutscene in 10 minutes, which is what I'm going to attempt to achieve in this video. Before I perform this run, I must note that I am playing on Dolphin Emulator, as I could not get this ROM working on my Wii. However, I believe it should also load on console with a proper homebrew setup. Without further ado, let's hop into the run. I am going to have to employ every world record strategy to make it to the end of World 1 in time. In a normal speedrun, I would manipulate the overworld Goomba in order to guarantee that Mario could pass them every run, a trick found by the premier tasser of this game, MGR. To perform this trick, you load a completed file with the 1-2 super guide spawned and hit the block. This will set the random number generator to a particular value due to the fact that these movies are simply a set of recorded inputs, which is the same way that hint movies work. If you reset as the movie starts and use a level which gives a good random number generator value like 1-2, loading a file will result in the Goomba being in the optimal position, top left. Unfortunately, I cannot employ this tactic as I do not have a completed file to work with. Therefore, I must just look at the Goomba during the airship cutscene and hope that they spawn in the optimal position. The fact that you can skip the intro is especially interesting, as if we could do that in the full release, it would have saved a huge amount of time between resets that we used to do to manipulate the optimal Goomba in longer categories. Unfortunately, that feature only exists here in the demo. In 1-1, I keep the speed off the rolling hills, avoid a bonk on the wall with a small turnback, and perform a trick called DSS, where I use the Koopa shell to hit the propeller block for a faster grab. I complete 1-1 optimally, and move on to 1-2, which is fairly simple at the world record level. I tilt the platforms to the minimum slope they allow, which actually provides the most optimal horizontal distance, and grab the star to run faster through the second half. I simply run to the end in 1-3, making it under the hammer bros before they can block me. One Tower is the hardest level in World 1 in top level speedruns, and unfortunately since I am playing on emulator with input delay, I was unable to achieve the fastest cycle. Interestingly, after I finished the level, I was not presented with any sort of save prompt. This is because Nintendo did not want people to save the game at the kiosk demo and make it further than intended. I move on to 1-4, where I attempt to exit the water as much as possible to take advantage of the higher speed. I get lucky enough to pass the overworld Goomba without them randomly moving down to block me, and move on to 1-6, which is a fairly easy hold right level with the only optimization being keeping speed off the rolling hills. Finally, I moved on to 1-Castle. This level benefits from using the propeller to skip waiting at the beginning. As I reach Larry, I'm getting really worried about the time. Wait, I haven't timed out yet, what? I feel like it's gonna pop up in a second. Yep, there it is. Overall, this was a very interesting experience, and I think it is cool that we can make it all the way to the Larry boss fight before the 10-minute timer is up. In editing, I checked exactly when the timer starts, and it turns out to be when you press 2 on the Hold Wii Remote Sideways screen, which interestingly on the demo includes controls for the game. While I was playing this run, I realized that my emulator loads were quite slow, which vary by a large amount. I believe with really fast loads and insanely clean execution, you can make it at least to the start of the airship cutscene before the 10-minute timer is up, but that is a project for the future. Remember to subscribe, and you can watch the full unedited run on my second channel, linked in the description and the pinned comment. Thank you for watching.